Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad you decided to tune in. Hey, we have a very, very, very special guest this afternoon. I'm so pumped to talk to right-handed pitcher in the Dodgers organization, Payton Martin. Payton, I've got a chance to see you pitch a couple of times, that big right arm. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me on here.
Okay, cool moment, man. We're going to back up, and I like to start these things with a light moment. Last year, your senior year in high school, Oak Grove, you pitched the first 4 innings. You get to play shortstop. You hit a home run. There's a walk-off in the game. You know, I've been in the game for so long. I love those moments. Tell me about that special moment for you.
Oh, yeah. It was towards the beginning half of the season. Both teams were like, I'd say 8-0. We're both undefeated. The hype was good going in. We had a ton of fans. It was a high school game, easily over like 100 people too, and that's big for Clemens. So uh, so I pitched, I'd say 3 or 4 no-hit innings and going into the game pretty good. And I
Did you
think
have
in
some
like the
adrenaline
fourth
working
inning,
for you?
oh yeah, oh yeah. It was actually the second inning, I believe. I was a 4-hole hitter at the time. I was leading off the second inning. First pitch I swung and missed. Second I took for a ball, and the third pitch, caught that fastball inside, took it to left field. Definitely hyped up the team a little bit. But after that, I had 3, 4 no-hit innings, and then they got to me in the fifth, unfortunately. But and they took me out. So we actually came back 1 or 2 runs in the sixth inning, and we tied it up. And then in the seventh inning, Harrison Lewis, he's going to Carolina. He's still a senior now. He flares one over second base, and I score coming from third when we win the game.
Oh, so you got to score the game-winning run. I didn't
Oh
realize
yeah,
that.
yeah, yes
Oh,
sir.
that's fun. Helmet flying and all that.
Oh yeah, yep.
Hey, so tell me about your career there at West Forsyth, your coaches, your teammates, everybody who's helped you along the way. Tell us about your career there.
So I actually transferred to West my sophomore year, and that was the COVID year. That was sort of a wacky year. I met everybody, but I feel like I didn't get to like personally meet everybody. My coach was actually Brad Bullard, amazing guy, amazing coach. He knew the game very well. Um, and then Coach Willard, he was the assistant. Oh man, he's the clown. He's funny. But Wes was like an easy choice to transfer to because even before I went to the school, he already had me in contact with like certain players, and we were already hitting BP on the field. So I'd say that was definitely a fit for me because they felt like family. It was an easier choice. So yeah, I mean, West Forsyth is definitely the go.
So you're touching 94 in high school. You're 94 to 97. At least that's what the TrackMan has had you in some of your performances at Rancho. So when did you start, have you always had the velo, or when did you start seeing the mid 90s? So when did all that happen for you?
So in high school, I was actually like 150 weight range, 160. And I didn't really care much about my body and how I was going to perform. But I was always a shortstop, always just a thrower. And when I got here, I'd say I had like the athleticism, so it made it a lot easier. And they haven't changed anything like mechanical wise. I went straight from like high school here the same way I was throwing. But the big thing is weight. So as soon as I started gaining weight, like right now I'm like 182, 183, and the velo obviously went up a little bit, and it's going to continue going up as I gain weight. But I started like my own routine. They pull me aside in the past year. They pulled me aside 20 plus times just to talk to me individually, and they sat me down, told me what to eat, kind of marked out my agenda, and it helped throughout the way. And now I'm where I'm at. So.
Boy, and you have some great people to example yourself after. Chris Campos, of course, he came out of college from St. Mary's, but he was a shortstop too. Now he's pitching away. I think he still takes a little bit of BP every now and then. So do you guys kind of talk about what that transition's been like for both of you?
We don't talk about it too much, but we are like very good friends. Anytime we see like infielders fielding ground balls, we're always hating it. We're like, gosh, I wish we can get out there, take some BP or something. But yeah, we definitely connect on that
So
point.
no BP for you anymore?
Nope, unfortunately. No.
Oh man. So what has the transition been like from being a two-way player, being a part, you mentioned in the game. I wanted to bring up that game earlier, obviously, because it's exciting, but just to give Dodgers fans, an example of how you've always been in the middle of the action. You've been the pitcher, the shortstop, you've hit the home runs, you scored the game-winning runs. So you go to that to, boy, you only get to pitch like every fifth day. What's that transition been like?
It's a lot easier on the arm. I mean, they kind of taught me what to do. See, we throw every single day. And in high school, I threw every day, but it was more like a play shortstop, then pitch a full game. Shortstop, pitch a full game. It was like every day, no break. But that actually prepared me for what I had going on here. Because, again, back to like my pure arm throw. So it makes it a lot easier. And I already had like surgery on my elbow when I was younger, actually, that sophomore year. So it's
Tommy
really not a
John?
big change. No, it was
Okay.
like something to prevent Tommy John. It was like a screw. Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't too hard transitioning, like the transition. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. So
Okay, got to ask you, of course, the first thing that you recognize whenever you watch Payton Martin pitches, like, okay, this guy's got some confidence. He's confident in his own skin, which is absolutely awesome. I love that swag and the confidence that you pitch with. And, it's very noticeable whenever you pitch. So, hey, where did all of that come from? That, just that swag that you pitch with?
oh man. So I grew up with like just my mom. It was just me and my mom. And
Who is a
I'd say we've
Dodgers
been
fan, by the
through,
way, correct?
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yes. But I'd say we've been through like a ton together, like so many people doubting us, just us together. And I've been through so much in my life. So like every time I hop on the mound, it's like nobody can beat me. That's how I feel. Obviously, like games will come, but no matter what, as soon as I step off the mound, I always feel like I'm the best player on the field.
Yep. And baseball is such a difficult game that if you
Oh yeah.
don't have that confidence in yourself, hey, nobody else is going to feel sorry for you. So you better have
Yep.
that confidence in yourself. Okay. So you talked about all the things your mom has been through. Of course, Clemens isn't on the east coast of North Carolina. It's a little further inland, but it is on the east coast of the United States. So you get drafted by, the Dodgers who are on the west coast. And so, I remember dropping my kid off at and Stillwater, Oklahoma, like 35 minutes from our house. And I think I bawled like a baby all the way
Yeah.
home. So that has to be for your mom, man. It has to be exciting for her, but it's like, oh my gosh, my baby's halfway across the world, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So even when I was going to ECU, I went for summer school actually. And they my family took it hard. It was only like 3 hours away, but it was definitely harder. But I feel like them deep down knowing that like I'm in pro baseball and experiencing like a dream that not a lot of kids get to like experience. It's a lot easier for her. If that makes sense because her goal is finished. Her goal getting me here. So
Yeah. Okay. So, Coach Godwin, you mentioned ECU there at East Carolina. Hey, how about the Purple Pirates? They are ranked number 12 in the country right now. I'm sure the awesome program they have there drew you there, but like you mentioned, it's in state, but still it's 3 hours away. That's quite a drive. So, what drew you to Coach Godwin? What drew you to East Carolina? You committed there before, obviously, you got drafted.
oh yeah. So there was a point, I think it was my senior summer, where there was like a bunch of schools looking at me for shortstop only. I wasn't even going as a pitcher. But so we talked, sat down, they did a virtual tour, but they always took their time to talk to me. Like no matter what, they had 2 hour, 3 hour calls or whatever. But it just felt like that was like gonna be home. But my goal in life wasn't to get to college baseball. I
Sure.
wasn't like growing up, I want to go play college baseball. It was always to play pro baseball. So I was like, why not just go ahead and get my career started early? And I hated it just because they were really sweet. Like they were nice
Mhm.
to me and they acted as family. But and to this day, like I still love them. They were good people. And everybody that goes to that school is just good people. But that wasn't really my full goal. So I kind of want to get it started early.
Okay. You've got the confidence, the self confidence. We talked about that. So I wanted to have a light moment with you here. ECU, they're ranked number 12 in the country. If they have Payton Martin roaming shortstop and pitching for them, do they win a natty this year?
Uh, Honestly, I'd say my senior year of high school, that last state playoff run, I was really hot. I was really hot, and I got my confidence back. Like my whole life, I didn't have the confidence that I have now, and I'd say that really kicked in that senior year. And I say I had a little bit of swagger to me, so I'd say they have a good chance. pretty good chance.
So you get drafted by the Dodgers. How far west had you been at that point in your life?
So I've never been west before
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Had you ever
that
been
was
on
my
a
first
plane?
time. Yes, I went to Florida one time, took a plane there, but that's about it.
So we're going to talk about draft day for you. But before we do, talk about after you got drafted, you flew to LA to sign your contract. Tell us about that entire experience, the day you got on the plane, and what you remember from that.
So, I actually brought my mom here with me to sign with me.
Awesome.
And it was crazy because my whole life I grew up looking at people sign contracts. Dang, must be nice. But I'm pretty sure my hand wouldn't even stay on the paper. Like I was shaking. But yeah. It was just a big moment for both of us. But we absolutely loved it. It was definitely one of the top moments of my life. So
How did your mother control her emotions as you were signing the papers?
honestly, it was a lot better than I thought.
Better than you,
She
it sounds like, right?
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. Okay, I'm sure you're with family. Tell us about the entire draft. I know you had a lot of information coming in, but sometimes you get so much information, it conflicts, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not exactly sure what's real and what's not. So take us through draft day, where you're at, who you're with, and how all that went.
Okay, so my area scout Jonah, greatest guy on the planet. Like,
Rosenthal?
yes,
Oh, yes, yes,
yes.
yes. Okay.
Dude, that guy is, we're like brothers now. He's like one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
I'll bet he
But
talked to you for about 3 hours about Clemens, North Carolina before he ever talked to you about baseball, right?
yeah, we our first conversation was actually at a Sonic. I was at a
Yeah.
Sonic after a game at like 9 o'clock, and I sat in the driveway of that Sonic for like 2 or 3 hours having a conversation with him.
So you guys
But
have Sonic in North Carolina?
yeah,
Oh,
yep.
that's like a go-to. You know, the first Sonic ever was in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where I'm from. So that's awesome, man. I
Really? You're
love it.
from Oklahoma?
Yeah, Stillwater. Yeah,
Dang, dang.
yeah. That's my
But
go-to, man.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm not much of a Sonic fan, but I'm more of a Chick-fil-A guy.
Yeah, I hear
But
you.
I can do some Sonic though.
Yeah.
But so he talked to me throughout the season, and it was, I want to say, a couple days before draft day. We had like a number set and stuff, and we were talking, and I just wanted to get to pro baseball, so I did anything necessary. And he called me I was at a Biscuitville, so another good place. But I was
Mm-hmm.
with my mom, and he's like, "Yeah, we're thinking about taking you. We're gonna hop on a Zoom call or whatever." So I went home, hopped on the Zoom call. 2 days later, we watched the full draft, and I think I got taken the third day, the 17th round.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the whole family over. I have all my high school buddies, like my group of high school buddies. My mom, dad, my cousin Jeffrey was there. He's been like one of my idols my whole life. So he was in the back watching, and we sat there for, it felt like forever. Honestly, I was like, dang, these rounds are going by really slow. But we all stood up because we knew my name was about to get called, and it just started. Everybody started freaking out. It was pretty cool.
That is cool. Hey, I'll tell you something else. It's really cool. That hat you got on, man. That thing is
Oh
sweet
yeah,
right there.
you like that?
Yeah,
I got that
man.
in North
That's
Carolina
that's
too.
sweet right there. I like that. I like that
Thank
lid.
you.
That's big time right there. Okay, so we've talked about, hey, draft day, your high school career, the possibility of you going to ECU and playing for Coach Godwin. Let's get to the good stuff. And it is big time, 94 to 97. I'll tell you what, I had never seen you pitch with my own eyes. And I think I immediately messaged you like, holy smokes, dude, your arm was live tonight, man. I had to know what your velo was. And I was just so glad that you responded to the message. And lo and behold, it was 94 to 97. I could tell it was live. But hey, you've always been the shortstop pitcher guy, but you're a 4-pitch mix with the 4-seam fastball, the slider, the curveball, and the change. How did you get to all of that in high school and develop a 4-pitch mix, not being a PO?
So in high school, I only had two pitches.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was it was my fastball and a slurve. We
Yeah.
mixed my curveball and slider just because it was high school and not many
Throw
guys
it
in
for
high
a
school could hit
strike.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as soon as I got here, I told them, and they're like, "What? Like we got to split those up." So I had my fastball, and then there's my slider that it's a little inconsistent on velo, to be honest. It could
Yeah.
be 85, it could be 89, 88, but I'd say the movement on it is always consistent. And that's one of my more confident pitches. Like if it's 3-2, I'll throw a slider every single time if you want me to. And there's my curveball. It's more of a loopy curveball, just to get me over pitch
Yeah.
almost. But that's more of like 79, 81, just a buckle hitter. And then there's my changeup. I used to throw my changeup at 90, 91, and we had to cut that down a little bit. So
Wow.
now it's like 84, 85, a lot more movement. Changed my grip a little bit, but that's more of like a also I don't want to say get me over pitch,
Yeah.
but that's more of a chase pitch.
Yeah. More tumble
So
or more fade to it?
I'd say a little bit of both, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay,
Just
good.
like yeah, just depends on how my arm's feeling that day.
Yep. And you've talked about adding a couple of pitches to your repertoire and kind of refining the difference between a curveball and a slider. The developmental system in the Dodger system is just ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very. All the guys here are just like full of knowledge, and it's easy
Mhm.
for them to talk about baseball. Like any question I throw at them, like sometimes I'm like, there's no way they can answer this question, and I'll ask them in this paragraph about it right there. And I was like, dang, well, I appreciate that.
Yep, no doubt. And you're the type of guy too, with the confidence that you carry yourself with. It's big for you to allow them to be. They allow you to continue to be yourself. They're not trying to make you a robot. And for me, for guys like you that carry themselves with confidence, that's a real big factor, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and so it's crazy because oh man, I want to say confidence is one of the main things you need,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I first got to instructs last year, I didn't know how to call a game. Like my whole life, catchers would call a game. So
Throw it
honestly,
harder.
right, yeah, right before the season started, I had Dalton Rushing catching me in spring training,
Wow.
right? And that was I shook off in the second inning, and he was confused because I've never shaken off in my life. Okay, we go back to the dugout, and he's like, "Why did you just shake off that pitch?" I was like, "Dude, I know it's a bad call, but honestly, I've never done it, and I wanted to try how it felt." So he started dying laughing at me in the dugout,
You got
and
to be kidding me.
yeah. So I was just like the beginning of my pro career, like in instructs and spring training, I was just throwing basically.
Mm.
I didn't know how to call a game, any sequences or nothing. So David Anderson, DA, actually
Yeah.
called me aside and we had like an hour discussion on the computer, and he just breaks down like what I should throw, what count to what hitters and stuff. And we actually have a journal back in the clubhouse. It's my little journal, and I
Mm-hmm.
have it full of just like sequences, what I should do, like horizontal bats, vertical bats, what I should do,
Mm-hmm.
and what I should throw to different guys. And I study that before every outing. I get like a sheet of paper on every single guy and what to do. But yeah, it's definitely helped a ton.
DA, you mentioned Dave Anderson. He does such a wonderful job of, he's obviously he loves the analytics and he's very analytical from that perspective, but he's able to break it down to his pitchers in a way that seems simple enough to be able to execute, right?
Oh yeah, and so I had one of my bad outings in spring training. I think it was the first home run I've given up in spring training or like in pro baseball. And I came in, I was like, dang, because I was on a streak. I was like 3 games without a run scored. And I got on there, I was like, gosh, sitting down, that just happened. And then the next day we had a post-game interview, or not an interview, a post-game conference, right, with all the pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, you did great. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, only one run. That's what I'm talking about. I was like, dang, well, I appreciate that. He definitely knows how to raise the mood, but he'll
Yeah.
definitely tell you what you're doing wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah, never a down moment with him.
Okay, let's talk about Sean, Shu, and your entire coaching staff there this year. Ramon's hilarious. He's just an awesome dude. So, hey,
Oh
talk
yeah,
about working with the guys you get to work with there at Rancho.
it's crazy because I don't want this to come the wrong way, but they don't even feel like coaches to me. It's
Understood.
like
Yes,
just a best friend sort of player because they know so much about the game. They can connect to you in like a very good way.
they're a
But
support structure. Yeah.
oh yeah, even Shu, like it's crazy. I walk into the clubhouse and I said hey to him one time, and I think he didn't hear me until the last second. And I kept walking after I said hey, and he came out of the clubhouse to grab me and said sorry for not saying hey and told me hey. I was like, dang, that's something right there. That's how you know you got a
Mhm.
good coach. And Coin is just one of the best people to talk to. You know, he knows everything about baseball. If I'm doing something wrong, he'll tell me, boom, right there. And that's how I like it. If I'm having a bad day, or if I'm doing something wrong, not doing something right, you know, I want somebody to tell me. And
Tell me
he's
how to
the guy
fix
that'll
it.
tell
Yeah.
me. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chunky, he he's another guy like hilarious. We're in the bullpen together. He is just a clown. I love it. And he's his knowledge on baseball too. Like, see, I didn't even know he played honestly until
Yeah.
like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I looked him up. I was like, dang, like he was a real deal.
I got to
That's
see him quite a bit
crazy.
in Oklahoma City. Matter of fact, I got to see him in a 15 inning game. Ask him about it sometime in Oklahoma City.
How,
It was awesome.
that's how many did he close? Or just what did he close one inning?
I think he actually started that game and he went like
Started?
five
Okay.
or six innings. Yeah. And I think
I
it was a
got you.
part of a doubleheader too. So he
Wow.
jokes about
Wow.
that. Yeah. That was a pretty cool experience.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So
Gosh.
he's awesome. Yeah. So keep going on about your coaches.
Um, but yeah, like every day, you know, throughout your life, you always have like that one coach. Like everybody says, there's that one coach that ruined their career or whatever, or is not cool to talk to. But like, there's not a single person in the Dodgers organization that has a bad attitude, will put you down or anything, tell you something wrong. It's always positive vibes here.
Yep. And that goes a long ways in a game of failure. They absolutely have. I call it the culture. And, I know a lot of Dodgers fans, when I keep harping on the culture the Dodgers have created, like, yeah, okay, all they want to know is, hey, did we win the game? I'm just telling you, the culture in this Dodgers organization is unbelievable. And it starts at the single A level where you're at with John Shoemaker, one of the most professional managers that you'll ever meet. Okay, so light moment. Okay, I like to ask this of every player that plays for Shoe. Have you ever seen him out of uniform?
So we talked about this. Some players talked about this, but me personally, I have not.
All
Nope,
right.
never, 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 never. Always got his jersey on or the warm-up shirt on. It's ready to go. Always baseball pants. It's
From
crazy.
what I hear, hey, you can go down to the lobby in the hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning and Shoe's there with full uniform, or it can be 10 o'clock at night. He's leaving the stadium full uniform. So I love asking that question. Okay, so you're 18 years old, which is amazing to me. Obviously, just listening to you, you sound like you're well beyond your years of 18. So, you're out on the West Coast, you're halfway across the world, you're having a great time. You're in the middle of California, you're looking at the mountains, you're in the California League, and you're around all these dudes that are just awesome baseball players. Have you ever had that moment where you just stopped and went, holy smokes, I'm actually doing this? I'm a professional baseball player in the middle of California. How about this? Huh? You ever had that moment?
So I actually don't want that moment yet.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, because I'm not to like my final goal. My final
Right.
goal is to play in the MLB, like for the Dodgers. And I don't want to have like a pause moment. I want to keep going, attack every second. But I'm gonna let that moment come as soon as I get called up. So, oh
Oh,
yeah.
fantastic answer to that. And kind of along the same lines, have you had the moment where, you looked around and you went, hey, I'm good enough to actually be here. I'm a professional baseball player and my stuff actually plays at this level the same way as everybody else's. Have you had that eureka moment that I call it, where you've realized that my stuff is good enough to be here?
Um, so actually, I never compare myself to anybody else. That's one thing you should never do. But but yeah, watching other pitchers and stuff for other teams, I'm like, dang, okay, okay. And then I'll go out there and then I'll do my job and it makes my confidence go up a little bit, it makes me boost a little bit. But like just taking it one day at a time, getting
Yeah.
everything done. Oh yeah.
Dude, you are well beyond your years of 18 years old in terms of your wisdom and knowledge and the way that you carry yourself. I am so pumped to watch your progression in this Dodgers organization. So, hey, is there anybody else you want to thank on the way out of here? I know we've talked about your mom and your coaches. Do you want to rehash anybody that along the way has really helped shape you?
Um, you know, I just want to give everything to God, He's got me everywhere throughout life. I don't know what I could do, honestly. But of course there's my mom. She's done literally everything for me and she's been super amazing. Uh sacrificed so much for me. My family, like all my aunts, my cousin Jeffrey, definitely. He dude, he was like, we lived together when I was younger, and he taught me mostly everything of how to like be a man, you know? And we still talk on a daily basis now. Um, of course, my girlfriend Elena, big supporter, huge supporter. I'm talking like every day texts me telling me good job, and I just love it. She's amazing. My dad now, James Sink, he used to be a pro race car driver. That's
Oh,
crazy.
really?
Yeah, but it was like it was at a place where I was from. But he's got that competitive sense to him. So when I go home in the off season, or even when I make calls home, it's always competitiveness, competitive. He's like, "What'd you do today?" I'm like, 4 strikeouts. Oh, only four? Like, what are we doing? But I just thank everybody in the Dodgers, and everybody that's been in my life since now. And I thank you for having me on here. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And likewise on my end too, man. Like I said, when I saw you pitch the other day, I saw, how young you were and the confidence that you were carrying yourself with and the big right arm. I was so pumped whenever whenever I messaged you and you actually responded back. I always get so excited because I love getting to talk to you guys and kind of getting to tell your story a little bit. So, hey, Payton Martin, thank you so much for joining Dodgers Daily.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.